Sure.
Hi, Marco, and hi, everyone. I'm Anna from GreenGeeks, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, How to Easily Build Your Website with WordPress, presented by our very own Marco Berrocal. Real quick, I want to say a couple of words about GreenGeeks in case someone watching is not familiar with us and what we do. We're a 300% green energy web hosting provider, which essentially means that we put back 3 times the amount of power we consume into the grid in the form of renewable energy. And we have been recognized by the US EPA since 2009 as a Green Power Partner. And we offer share hosting, reseller hosting, VPS, and dedicated servers. So now a few notes about the webinar. Please go ahead and put your question in the Q&A as you come up with questions, and Marco will answer them at the end of the presentation. You can also chat in the chat room if you wish. Just remember to select everyone if you want everyone to see what you're discussing. And as always, we're recording this presentation. So if you have to step away, don't worry, since we'll be sending the recording to you in the next couple of days. And finally, we have enabled live transcription for this webinar. So now you have the ability to enable them by going to live transcript and then show subtitles. So, I'm going to leave the floor to Marco. I'm here if you need me in the background, but Marco, do you want to introduce yourself and say hi?
Hi. Hello, everybody. My name is Marco Berrocal. I am from Costa Rica. I have been with GreenGeeks for 4 years now. They went by fast. I am a developer at heart, and I've been doing WordPress development, and here it goes again, for 13 years. It's been a lot of years. I'm a lot into WordPress development, community, everything that is as far as, sharing the knowledge, sharing the love. I'm all for it. Truth to be told, I've never done anything with as many as attendees as today. So, well, it doesn't really change the feeling, but I wasn't expecting such a huge turnaround. So I am going to share one of my screens, and I am going to leave the other one with Zoom. So I hope everybody can see. Yes, they can. Seeing the presentation, right?
Yes.
So, okay, cool. So like I said, I love GreenGeeks because, well, I haven't said that, but I actually do love GreenGeeks because we're all about community. We're all about helping people. We're all about sharing knowledge, about making a social impact on what we do. Anna has highlighted, one of the distinctions that we have as a hosting platform. But another cool thing about the company is that we're all about helping. We're all about getting people familiar with the ins and outs of both hosting and, something that is as huge as WordPress is. So I'm always excited to give these webinars. What are we going to learn today? So we're going to learn about WordPress, of course. We are going to do a start to finish install. I am going to use some of the tools that we have here at GreenGeeks. I am also going to explain briefly what the inner workings of WordPress are, specifically the dashboard, panel, settings, etc., plugins, themes, of course. I'm going to give a brief explanation as to what content is in the WordPress way of things, differences between posts, pages. I hope I have the hour, but if not, we'll go over a little bit, and Anna will just, say, hey, you're going overboard. We're going to go over themes, all about themes, the do's, the don'ts, and I am going to install a theme and start building content and designing stuff from there on. We are also going to discuss a little bit of what builders are. I know some of you may be interested in builders that are not they don't come out of the box as far as WordPress is concerned. We'll get there eventually when we get to this item. I'm going to discuss plugins, what they are, must-have essential plugins, why I recommend them, and whatnot. A little bit about SEO. just a brief over-the-top view as to what it is, because I know most of you have websites with us, you have companies, you want to spread the love out, you want to get everybody to know you. So just a bird's eye view as to what SEO is. So for today's webinar, what are we going to need, aside from the GreenGeeks account? Well, it's not necessary, it's not mandatory. You can have a WordPress install and you can follow along, it's not a problem. But if you don't have a website, we are going to do this. We're going to install WordPress for you. You do need a domain, but this is a small mistake. You don't need a GreenGeeks hosting account if you're a customer with us. You can be outside of it. It's not a problem. GreenGeeks credentials, eagerness to learn, and patience, because we are going to discuss a few things. Some things might be a little bit, whoa, and others might be, aha. I've always tell people, like, hey, how did you learn so much? Or, hey, how do you know so much? And I've always tell them patience, because success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. And I've failed a lot. So never give up. Don't lose patience, because everything is going to work out in the end. So as many of you know, WordPress is a content management system, which essentially means, and I usually pitch this to clients whenever I'm selling projects, it allows you to have control over your website, over its content, without being a developer, without having to code and getting into an interface that feels pretty much like typing on a Word document, where you put paragraphs, you put images, you put titles, and you just publish that stuff, and it gets instantly updated and accessible for everybody to see. So that is the beauty of WordPress, and that is why it's so nice to have, because as a business owner, you can set up your website within minutes, and it is true, and you can have a website up and running, and you can start selling your stuff, your services, or any idea that you have. WordPress allows you to do this. And one of the great and revolutionary things about WordPress is that it's a free platform. It's absolutely free to use. You can install it, you can use it, you can install plugins, you can do pretty much anything you can think of, free for most of the time. But again, some things you need to pay, some not, but that is the cool thing about it. So everything is community driven. So people who work on WordPress are volunteers, people who organize meetups are volunteers, people who organize events, they're all around this. Let's help people out to make this a powerful tool. And WordPress is a powerful tool. I think last time I checked, it was around 44% of all the websites that are out there are powered by WordPress. So that is a huge number. I think it's around 700 to 800 million websites that are on WordPress. So it is a huge platform. There's a huge community behind it, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do out of the box. So I added this slide because WordPress uses stuff such as cPanel and MySQL. I omitted Apache, but it's basically like the components that WordPress needs. In the end, WordPress stores all this stuff in a database, which is like a huge Excel file, really fast Excel file, and all of your posts, all of your content is stored in there. And cPanel is more or less like the, try to think of it like the behind the curtains thing that allows you to administer your website and install WordPress. Now, we are not going to touch any of those, but chances are in the future, you may hear about one or the other when it comes to installing WordPress. So we have an auto installer at GreenGeeks, and I absolutely love this because it saves time, like a lot. It's a beautiful tool that we engineered a couple of years ago, and it allows us to pretty much take away the whole database, cPanel kind of thing, and just with a few clicks, you are up and running with a WordPress install. So I'm going to do exactly that. And let me exit over here. So I have this very unoriginal domain called marcoberrocal.com. It's blank, as you can see, because I deleted all the files and nothing is there. So we are going to install a WordPress website. First of all, you need to log in to your GreenGeeks dashboard in order to do this. And once you are there, you can go to, hosting. You go to manage. You have this. and you have this tool called the Start Wizard, the Quick Launch Wizard. So you're going to do that, and it's going to give you a few options as to what you can do. I didn't particularly think if my screen is big. Is my screen too big, Anna? Is it okay? Yeah,
I
too
think
small?
it's okay. Maybe too small.
Okay.
If you could make
Okay,
it.
let's make it a little bigger. Here we go. I think it's this. Display settings, and I did the wrong one. Scaled. Maybe this. How about that? Better?
Yes, much better. Thank you.
Okay, cool. That's why I use glasses, by the way. So we have these 4 options. I'm not going to get into this stuff a lot, but we can migrate your website if you don't have a hosting account. We have a department that can build a website for you if you don't have one and you're like, hey, I need something up and running quick. So you can, we will take your information and we will build a website for you in a couple of days. You can skip this if you are a guru pro or you just don't have the time. But we're interested in this one. We're going to start a new website, and we are going to select WordPress. For those of you who have WooCommerce, who want to sell stuff, this option will be for you, but I am going to omit it because it's not a WooCommerce webinar. So we're going to continue. And over here, one caveat that I haven't mentioned is that I have an SSL already installed. If you go to my website, you see the log over here. It's already there. It's something that we offer to all of our hosting accounts. It's absolutely for free. You can go over here in security and just install it. It's out of the scope of this webinar, but I just wanted to mention it out there for those who do not. Second, we have a theme a picker. You need to pick a theme. In here, I usually like to start with a default theme, the one that comes with this WordPress installation. So you go ahead and click this. Elementor is for one of those builders options that we discussed previously. So if you're using Elementor, well, they have their own theme, and that is a good way to start. But I am going to start with the default one, and I am going to select a few plugins. Actually, I am not, because we are going to discuss that in a bit. So I'm going to unselect this, and unselect this. These are plugins that we install out of the box for you, but I like to start things from scratch. I like to start blank, and that's good to go. The only plugin that will be installed is this one called Lightspeed and LS Cache. This is something to speed up your website. I hope we have time to discuss that later on, but it comes on by default. So we hit the create my website, and it's going to tell me, hey, you may have some content. Are you sure you want to do this? And I say, yes, I am absolutely sure. So we're going to deploy this, and we're going to wait a few minutes. Well, actually, no, seconds. And it's pretty fast. And with that, our website will be installed in a minute. I see we have questions. That's good. So we have the confirmation that the project has been deployed. And again, this is one of the great stuff that we have done. So we're good to go. I can follow this link over here, but I am going to copy this and I'll change it back. Don't worry. So I'm going to paste this over here, my other monitor. And I'm going to follow this link over here. I'm going to follow this, click on it. And just like that, I have a WordPress installation good to go. Now, if I refresh this over here, you will see that everything is Humpty Dumpty. So everything has been installed. Dashboard is good. Everything looks good. I have this small update, which tells me that I need to update this plugin, but we're going to skip that for now. Going back to my slides. Okay. Going back to my slides, we are going to get to know the dashboard a little bit. The dashboard is what we call the backend. You control as much as you can via here. So going back to my browser, this is the dashboard. Not this, but all of this. So the dashboard is what we typically refer to as the backend. So this is the stuff that you need as a user, WordPress user, to have in order to control everything as far as WordPress is concerned. I need to make a small pause and ask Anna, if people raise hands, I should address it, or I should just keep going? I don't know.
Thank you for asking. No, people are welcome to write in the chat.
Okay.
We cannot really like let
Okay.
anybody
Yeah. Otherwise, it will take a little
speak.
bit, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So by default, everything comes in here. Everything's installed. We have posts. This is where your blog entries come in. Originally, WordPress started as a blogging platform way back in the day, because way back in the day, you couldn't post content like this easily. So the concept of blog was created that allowed people to do exactly what I'm doing. It allowed me to log into an interface, post stuff, and then instantly publish it. And that was called a blog, because I think it was the combination of V and log, and somehow the V got killed and B got in, and now it's called a blog. So WordPress still uses that. It's the posts. So you can add a new entry, you can write stuff, and just like that, I'm going to close this dialog, and just like that, I am writing content. So I just publish this, hit it, and that's it. That's all the magic there is. And I have a content. It has let me move this because I can't see. So like that, I have a URL. I have something published. It's instant like this. It's magic like this. That took a lot of years and a lot of pain to do that. But going back into my dashboard, so I have the posts. I have the media. Media is where I more or less upload things. It's as easy as adding new, coming over here, dragging documents such as, I don't know, I didn't take any pictures. So let's take a picture of hosting. So let's do a picture of hosting. So we could do something as cool as this. I am going to save image as, go like this, GreenGeeks, and here we go. So I go over here, and I have a lot of files, I'm sorry. And I go like this, drag it, upload it, and the image is good to go. So if you go over here, for example, copy this, paste it, the image has been uploaded, and just like that, you have an image ready to go. So the media panel handles all of this. You can click over here, you can delete the image, you can edit the image. WordPress has gone as far as you can actually cropping it, rotate it, change its dimensions. All of that stuff is done out of the box, but again, we don't have the time for it. So pages is a little feature that was added into WordPress later on. It's different from posts. I'll explain that difference in a minute, but in here you control the pages. This is just, it feels the same. This is just a static page, and you publish the same. And like that, you can publish, you view the page, open it, and again, it has a page. Note though that the URLs change a little bit. This has the year, today's date, and the title, whereas this only has the title. I'll explain the differences in a bit. So pages do exactly that. It allows you to control them. You can edit them. You can quick edit them to change, for example, the slug, which is this little part over here, You can also change settings such as the date it was published, if you want this to be password protected, meaning that people can't access it without knowing a password, and so forth and so forth. But we'll get there in a minute. Comments. WordPress is a social platform. People can comment out of the box. You can install that. It comes installed actually, and people can comment into your blog posts right out the gate. All they need is an email address and a lot of thoughts or no thoughts. And the comment moderation comes into play here. And in here, you can see the comments that have been approved. Spam, we'll get there when the plugins is concerned, that I recommend section, because you will get a lot of spam. That's one of the pitfalls of having a platform such as popular as WordPress. There's a lot of spamming out there. So you're going to mitigate this a little bit in order to not go crazy with it. So appearance.
Marco,
Yes.
Marco, sorry to interrupt. I see a lot of comments from people saying that you're going a little fast.
Okay.
So just maybe slow it down a little. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. I go fast because I'm either excited or I'm conscious about time. So I started slow. I don't know where I got fast. Themes, appearance. Themes is all about the looks and feel of WordPress. In here, you can see the themes that you have installed. So right now we have 2023, but we have these available as well. You can activate a theme by clicking this button over here, and this is going to change the look and feel of WordPress completely. Just again, with a few clicks, you can change things to your liking. I'm going to go with 2022. And again, I just refresh over here and note how everything changes from font to background to the look to the functionality of your website just by doing something as simple as activating. So this panel allows you to control your themes, which themes you have installed, and customize them if needed to be. Plugins, we are going to get to that slide in a bit, but plugins are all about, think of it as extra functionality that you can do with WordPress, because as soon as you install WordPress, you can start writing pages, you can start writing posts, install themes, but if you need something extra to go with it, you can't do it out of the box. You need plugins for that. In here, you can see which plugins I have active, which ones I have installed. So the ones that are in blue, they mean that they are active. Note how this one needs an update. You can go ahead and do this and it will update in the background. So now my plugin has been updated. Inactive, it means these two are currently installed. No, they're currently uploaded, but not activated. Yeah, so we can go ahead and activate it just like this. This Hello Dolly plugin is a very old plugin that the owner or the founder of WordPress did just to demo to people, what WordPress could do back then. This was a long time ago. So as you can see on every page refresh, this little text comes into here. I don't know why they haven't removed that. I guess it's a sentimental type of thing, but every WordPress installation comes with a Hello Dolly plugin. So you see, it's still going there, but I'm going to deactivate it, and now you no longer see it. Next up is users. Here, it's all about what users you have for your WordPress installation. Note that I only have one called admin. You can add new users by hitting the add new button over here. Putting this information, which is some of it is required, like a username and email. And the very important aspect is the role. WordPress works on a role basis, meaning that certain roles can do some things while others cannot, and so forth and so forth. The highest role is an administrator. An administrator pretty much can see all these buttons that I have over here, whereas an editor it follows a journalistic flow, meaning that an editor can see people's content, edit it, of course, and write his own. And it goes all the way down to author. An author, for example, can publish its own stuff, but actually it can write its own post, but can't publish it because it needs an editor to do it. It's somewhere along those lines. But again, if you have an administrator role for your website, that's good, but always keep in mind that if you are going to allow other people to use this website, if you assign them as an administrator, they are going to have complete control as to what they do on the website. So this is a security thing that I'm mentioning because it happens from time to time that the employee leaves, but the account stays. So that can always cause some haybuck. It can cause some issues down the road if you don't change these roles or you don't change the password accordingly. Tools, I'll be completely honest with you. Tools is not something that I particularly use a lot. Again, why, I really don't know. I just haven't had the opportunity to do it. So I am not going to go over it a lot. The only cool panel from a geeky perspective, it's this one called Site Health. It gives me like the information, improvements that I could do to my WordPress website. It gives me like a quick scan of what's going on with WordPress. So as you can see, everything's good. And information over here, it gives me techie information as to what my installation is. So as you can see over here at GreenGeeks, we use MariaDB. We don't use MySQL. It gives me the prefix of my tables. Again, this is a little bit geeky. This is a little bit out of the scope of this webinar. But if you need to look at server information, going into Site Health and then info is always a good, it's a good read. Again, it's really up to you what you want to do with this information. But status, so long everything is good, you're great. Your website does not use HTTPS. That's not true. Oh yeah, it is true actually. We'll get there in a minute. So the next up is settings. Settings is general options, like site-wide options. What can I do on a site-wide basis with it? So by default, it opens the general tab. That notice that we saw on Site Health had to do with this. It's installed as HTTP, whereas I have HTTPS over here. Now, in the past, I've changed this like this and hit the update button, but then I got locked out and I really don't want to repeat that. So not during this webinar. So I'm going to omit that. I usually use a plugin that does that for me. So I'm going to get out of there. And in here, you can change things such as your language. English is the default one, but we have Spanish, Espanol. We even have Espanol of Costa Rica. So that's great. Again, this is all done by volunteer work. This is people translating all of these labels, all of this stuff. It's people doing that on their free time. And that's why I said that WordPress is so awesome, because it's a lot of people working on that. Writing, I don't use this a lot. This is if you want to change the default category. We'll get there in a minute when we discuss posts. Reading, this is important. It's important because if I want my homepage to be different than my latest post, the setting by default comes like this. But if you go to the website, you will see that it has only these two blog posts. So going to the setting, it says that my homepage should display my latest post. But if I change this over here and go from homepage to this is just a static page, and I save this, note how my homepage changes. This is just a static page. So this is what I previously wrote as a page. And in here, I'm specifying that the homepage should be that. So this is important to do because WordPress still has that blog aura or mentality. I don't know, feeling is the proper word. So by default, the setting is stuck to my latest post. It's worth noting that this post page is exactly the same, but for my blog entries. So remember where I said that when WordPress started, it started as a blogging platform. So people could write posts and they got updated. So this page, what it means is with what should this page be in order to view my blog posts. So currently I have none, but if I go back into my pages, create one, here are my blog posts, or just blogs. Here are my blog posts. And I'm going to publish this. So what I did, go back, is I went to pages and I added a new one called blog, because the setting that I have over here under reading, it's asking me which page should I use as a blogging page. as where all my blog posts are going to be. So now that I've created it, I can see that I have this one over here. So it's called blog, and I'm going to save this. I'm going to go back into my pages, and I'm going to hover over this and note the view button. So I'm going to control click, and now it's going to open this, which kind of looked or resembled the previous homepage that I had, but now it's just for my blog posts. So this is it's an important thing that you need to check as soon as you install WordPress. Another really important thing is this setting over here. I've seen a lot of people lose their traffic over it or not have any traffic for months, only to realize that this checkbox was checked. So always make sure that if you check this, search engines are not going to see your website. They're just going to ignore it. So if you uncheck it, it means the opposite. So search engines are going to be there, and they are going to say, oh, here's some content. I'm going to crawl it. I'm going to take that information back to Google, etc. So keep this in mind. Check if you do not want search engines to see you. Uncheck if you do. Next up is discussion. I think it's an important aspect to have if you want to have comments. Do you want to have comments or not? If you do, here it's really important to come and do this. One of the things that I do is, first of all, I automatically close comments on posts older than X days. It's really up to you what the threshold should be. You know, I can't give you a hard number like saying this is a good number, this is a bad number, but I can tell you that it's good to have this because of the spam issues, because as your site grows, so do your articles, so do your blog posts. So more articles means more spam. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. So it's a good thing to have this automatically close when posts hit a certain age. For popular posts that you have, like in the past, you can override this setting on a post-by-post basis. So let's say, for example, I'm going to go to all posts. Let's say this was closed, right? So let's say this was closed, and this is a really popular post. You can go over here and override this. So this over here will overwrite this setting over here. So for popular posts, you can keep the comments open because you know this post brings me a lot of traffic because people comment a lot. You can have your reasons as to why they comment, but it's good to have that. Always keep in mind that having traffic onto your website, having people interact with it, it's good for your business because traffic matters, and some people can convert into whatever business objectives that you have for your particular website. Another thing I like to do is I like to nest comments that are only up to 2 levels deep. I say this from a user experience perspective because two levels is sufficient, because if I'm commenting and Anna is replying, she's responding to my comment. And I wouldn't want Erica to respond to Anna's comment, who's responding to my comment. And as you can see, that got a little complicated, right? So keeping this to 2 levels it's good for discussion, and it's also good to not confuse people to see these nested comments, which become really bothersome, or it comes a little finicky when you're viewing your content on a mobile, because it expands a little to the right, and it becomes hard to read as to who are you replying to. So keeping this to 2 levels ensures that you at least can reply to what someone said. So that's always great. This setting over here, it's important. Comment author must have a previously approved comment. This is important that you have it, otherwise everybody can just go and boom, comment without it. So if you have this unchecked, and people can start spamming the entire site, and trust me, they do. So with this, you can ensure that if someone doesn't have a previously approved comment, he will go into this queue over here. So he will go into comments, and he will go under this You're very welcome. See how that worked? So Justin commented, and it went straight into my pending setting over here. So I went into comments, and you have this pending, and Justin commented saying, "Thanks for doing this webinar. You're very welcome." So had I not had this setting over here, he would have gone straight into approved. So it's really important that you have this for spamming purposes. This is sufficient. This basically means that if you have two links or more within a comment, it's going to go into pending. And the reason for this is that sometimes people, you know how they sell these pills and etc. They post a lot of links. So anybody who's posting more than two, it's suspicious. So it goes straight into the pending box. If you have any words that you want to refrain from people to using within your content, such as profane words, or I don't know, it's up to you, you can add them over here. Avatars have to do with these little dudes over here. So it's something that WordPress uses internally. You need to register for avatar.com, but again, that's really not important. Media, it has to do with how do you want your images to crop? Because remember the whole, I uploaded an image over here. I uploaded this, but WordPress at the same time created 3 copies of it. It created a large one, it created a medium one, and a small one. So you have access to all 3. So how do you want to handle that? How do you want to crop them, or what the max width and height should be out of them? It could be relevant to you, it could be not, but this setting is over here. Permalinks, this is really important. It's important to me because of SEO purposes. How do you want your permalink structure to behave? Now, permalink is a fancy word for nice URLs, okay? And I say this because behind the scenes, WordPress reads the stuff like this. It reads it exactly like this, like marcoverrocal.com / P equals 123. So WordPress says behind the scenes, it really says, give me the content of the post that equals ID 123. That didn't sound so nice, did it? So it doesn't sound nice for humans. So this is why we have the permalink settings over here. And this is just for posts. So whenever you write a new post, it will get this URL structure over here. So instead of this, WordPress translates it into that. And it does the bidirectional thing of reading this, translating it into this, and reading this and translating it into this. So it does that behind the scenes. Back in the day, the default one was this, and people obviously needed to go and change this. So this one is kind of the default one from quite some time ago. I don't know, but this is the default one. I usually change it, and I'll tell you guys why. I change it because I don't like the whole 2023, the whole date thing behind it. I really don't. I don't like it. Now, some people prefer this flavor, which means just the title and the slug, and my personal favorite one is this one. It's a custom structure where I add the category, not like this. I'm going to delete it. Let me delete this. I add the category and then the post name. Now, why do I do this? I do this because, let me save the changes. I do this because whenever I'm writing posts, you have this category thing over here, which basically means how do I want my content to be organized in categories. So I can have a category called hosting, and I can add a category called WordPress. Okay, so categories are basically like labels. How do I want to label this blog post? Okay, so I have all blog posts again, and just like that, I'm going to click over here, and now I have categories. So instead of it being uncategorized, I'm going to go with WordPress. So I'm going to update this over here. And note how this URL over here changes from numbers to category and little slug, just like that, WordPress, just like that. And the reason I enjoy this or I prefer this is because search engines are going to read this category over here, WordPress, and they're going to give it some relevance to it. So when we get to the SEO part, we'll discuss titles in a bit more detail. But if you are, into the SEO aspect of it, if you want to, bulk that or bolster that far more, this is a better approach, in my opinion. Last but not least, privacy. I'm not going to get into details with this, but you are supposed to have a privacy page on your website discussing what you do with the data and what you don't do. In here, it's specifying what my privacy policy page is going to be, and that's it. That's as far as I go. This is not a legal webinar. And I said this in the previous talk, I can't give you legal advice. It's up to your jurisdiction and whatnot. So that is the WordPress dashboard in a nutshell, okay? And we are going now with themes. So themes is what gives you the look and feel. So always choose wisely. What do I mean by choosing wisely? First, make a list of the features that you want to have. And what features are those? What do you want the theme to do? Do you want to book appointments? Do you want to sell stuff? Do you want to, I don't know, have job entries? It's really up to what type of business you have in order to find a suitable theme for it, okay? Make sure it's responsive. I know it's the year 2023, but you still got to mention it. Responsive basically means that it will look properly on mobile phones. Mobile phones are getting bigger and bigger as days go by. So note how my content changes and when I make this smaller or bigger, and that's essentially what it means. How is this mobile ready? Because if it's not, you're going to be in some trouble because a lot of your website, it comes from mobile. So it's good to have a theme that is mobile ready, okay? Do you want to have a free theme versus premium? Here comes a really big debate. I mean, premium, you will have a developer or an agency that's going to give you support for it. If you have any questions for it, it's going to have extra features that perhaps the free themes might not. Like I said, support, added functionality. If something goes bad, a developer or an agency might be able to help you. So all of these things, they come at a cost. So which one do I recommend? I honestly recommend going the premium route if you have the resources for it, just for the sake of having the security of knowing that if something goes wrong with your theme, you can go and ask for help to the support, to the creator of it or the agency that did this. Now, which studios do I recommend? I can't really recommend one because there are tons out there. I mean, I could cite you, like, for example, Theme Forest, Theme Trust, Woo Themes, Elegant Themes, Studio Press, just to name a few of those companies that create themes for you. So it's important to know that these services are out there and you pay a nominal price for it. Obviously, the more features your theme has, the pricier it becomes, okay? Always test. Most of these themes allow you to test them before you buy them. So make sure you test them out, make sure you're happy with it, make sure you're okay with the colors, with the fonts, they look good on mobile, etc., etc. Now, the don'ts. What should you not do? You shouldn't use a bloated theme. What do I mean with this? A bloated theme basically means a theme that it has so many features into it that you don't need, that it's going to take a lot of time to load. And here I'm going to go a little bit into the SEO route. Slow website equals lower rankings as far as SEO is concerned. So always keep in mind the speed factor of it. So less is more. I think Steve Jobs used to say this, or I don't know who did, but it's true. The less things your theme has, the better. So right now, I only have, by going to appearance, I go back to themes. I only have this. So I only have this theme, and I can customize it if I want to. In here, this opens a whole webinar. We will have more webinars about this in the future, but basically these new themes allow me to do things out of the box, like build stuff out of the box without being a developer. So this is more or less how a template as to how your theme is going to look. So if I go over here, do this, select it, and save it, you will note that not this, actually site updated. I think I need to do it for the new one, right? Go back, dashboard, all posts. Or wait, it was the page. Yeah, exactly. Actually, it was for pages. So if I go to appearance themes and I customize it, I am basically customizing like a skeleton of what my page is going to look for all of them. This is a really cool feature of WordPress that is called Gutenberg, and it allows you to design or do pages on a block by block pages. So you can add as many blocks as you want. You can do something as this, just dragging like that, and just writing content like this, hitting the save button and seeing this go live just like that. So it's one of the great things that WordPress is becoming. Well, it depends on who you ask, but I think it's a great thing. This is becoming more and more a block editing experience where you can insert stuff onto your homepage without having to be a developer. So I can just omit this. Let's say, hey, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't know why I added this twice. So like this. This is just a static page. Yes, static. Sorry about that. I like this, but I'm going to get fancy. Now I want, I'm not a great designer, but here you go. Actually, I am. So you save this. And you have things like this. So you have these blocks that allow you to design things without being an expert. And you can even have your own templating system like this. So, I can save these things into templates and I can reuse them on different pages, on different posts, on the different categories, and you can go crazy with it. So, you could use these themes, these premium themes that I recommended, but you could also use this free one that comes out of the box and have some information that's pretty basic and just roll with it like that. So again, going back to my highlight, what are the features that you need? Do you need something that does something complex, like for example, book appointments, or you need to have a database of files or things like that? What is it that I need? Because chances are you could do it using, this editor over here, just by going into appearance themes, customizing it, building your own website and adding that information manually if it's something simple, and you can use plugins to go with it in order to extend that functionality. Now, I'm going to explain plugins in a bit, but I just wanted to highlight the power of editing sites and having a pretty nice looking website within minutes just by adding these blocks over here, seeing them and saying, oh, I really, 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 really like this. Let's explore. Oh, so nice. Headers. Yes, two images side by side, just like that. I love this. So let's say I want to get fancy with it and I want to add, can I add something here? Let's see. left. No, I don't want this. Let's go back. I wanted to see if I could add. Oh, no. I wanted to add a piece of block to it. Upload external image. No. Create bar. I could use create template part, but I could also select gallery. What I wanted to do is I wanted to insert some text that went on top of this. More like, let's see if I could do this over here. Let's see, block, heading. Can I use this to drag this guy? No. There we go. Yes. So I can go over here and say my awesome website. Now this looks a little bad because it's not a lot of contrast, but color text. There we go. So I save this over here. And just like that, I have my awesome, oh, it doesn't appear. Oh, my awesome website, site update. I did update it. Wonder why it doesn't appear. Odd. But like I said, the cool thing is that you can, edit this, you can insert features into it, you can insert blocks if you want to, you can go crazy with it as far as design is concerned. So the cool thing about WordPress is exactly that. It's transforming into a full site editing experience. And with a few clicks, you can have your plugins, your theme looking, fantastic. But going back into my themes, appearance themes, you have this option of adding a new theme. Okay, so in here, these are themes that are free. They have been filtered by WordPress. It's also a good starting point if you don't want to, buy the premium stuff that I previously mentioned, because they're absolutely free. So you can filter them by features, and that's why I said previously, what is the functionality that you need? Are you into a certain field of work, like for example, education? Do you need to have a site editor? The site editor means what I was previously doing. Do I need a site editing experience that allows me to edit my site completely without having the need to code? And if I say yes to this, it's going to give me a few themes that have exactly that. So you can go browse and say, okay, I really like this. You install it and you activate it. Now my website might look a little bad after I do this, but nevertheless, oh no, it looked great. So now I have this, which looks completely different. And if I go into themes, I again customize it, and I do the whole thing again. How do I want this to behave? Do I want this to be above this? Do I want to go below this? Do I want this button to appear? No, I can't edit the button. I will have to make a new one. How do I want this button to behave? What do I want it to do? All of that stuff, you can edit that by using the block editor, which is one of the most amazing things that WordPress has done over the past years. I don't want to have this. That. Oh. Take action. Get DS out. And that's that. And why is it this? There we go. So I save this. And just like that, I edited a button. Always note, though, that when you're using a full site editing experience, whenever I click on something, you have control over it to my right. So if I click over here, note how my right side of the screen changes accordingly. Okay, right, that looks a little bit. So, I click over here. I want this font to be smaller. Do I want to have some padding? Yes, this looks really bad. No padding. So things like this allow me to edit stuff the way I want to and design and do things out of the box without being a WordPress developer. Some developers have gotten jealous over this. I think it's a really cool feature because it really makes it democratic for everybody to have a website and do things that they could do within a matter of minutes. So going back into our, let's leave this dashboard. I go back into appearance again, and let's say, I don't like this. I want to do something new. So I add a new, I could go here into block themes. So block themes basically mean that it's doing what I was previously doing, grabbing these blocks, inserting them, and building my website experience using nothing but blocks. So for example, if I scroll, now this one looks interesting. Well, let's activate this. And it's installed. And now let's refresh. I need to add that. So this theme is a little more complicated because I need to add all of these blocks over here to get that look over here. So that will get you working for quite a few hours. But again, you can customize it and see, how far can you go with it? Because yeah, it's not available. So that's going to take a lot of work. I mean, it's part of the whole, you see something on advertising, but in the end, the end product might not look the same. So template parts, it's something that I didn't explain previously. Template parts are parts within the template that you can actually reuse. So for example, a footer is something valid. So if you change that to meet our, I'm going to do this type over here, you have changed the template part for the entire website without having the need to go page by page and do this. I know I made this typo, but it was just so that you guys could see it. There you go. It appears like this. So you can create your own template parts, or you can modify them to your liking. So let's say, for example, I want this to have a different background color. I don't know, to red. I like red. And you save that. You refresh over here, and note how everything changed to red. So to recap, template parts are small parts that go into your templates, and the site itself is the whole homepage site editing experience that you have that you want your website to look like. Of course, you can do this also by going into each page, like for example, posts, just like that, and doing exactly what I did, but obviously one by one. You go like this, you insert this, you post, etc., etc. But that's far more work than doing a general consensus of the template part itself using the theme than going page by page and designing that. So think of it as reusable blocks that will appear on all pages and posts within your WordPress website. Let me publish this. Let me update this so you guys can see. Let's see the post over here. Just like that, it has this, which again looks really different because I have all of this, but I don't have the sidebar to my right, correct? And that is because there's a template part that has that sidebar. And if you want to edit that sidebar, you're going to have to go into appearance, themes, customize. Oh, never mind. Themes, customize. Oh yeah, actually I was right. Go here, go into template parts, and then edit your sidebar. You see how this small part is this part over here, all of this. So again, think of it as blocks. You're editing the blocks, you're publishing the blocks, you're designing the blocks for the entire website to behave. And that's exactly how you can get up and running. It has come a long way in order to allow you to do stuff out of the box without having the need to pay. As you can see, it's suggesting me to upgrade to a Pro theme. I am sure the Pro theme may have all of these cute little images over here if you put the money forward. Again, it's a trade-off between, do I want to pay? Do I not want to pay? Is it free? Is it not? And that's pretty much it. I have to move because I think we're over the hour mark, and unfortunately I could go on forever with it. Builders, I wanted to stress this because what I previously did, it had to do a lot with building, right? I was configuring stuff, I was editing, I was publishing, design elements, and builders came before what I just did. So they solve a need. They solve the need of people not wanting to code, not getting into the whole coding aspect of it, and just build websites using WordPress. So builders started. They had a huge impact, or still do, within WordPress, and it allowed people to just basically do what I just did, build websites without having the need to code and publishing them instantly. They come in different flavors. There's a couple of builders out there. Chances are you may feel comfortable or not with them. So to add these builders, you need to add them as a plugin. So if you go ahead and do new and you use builder, let's see what comes up. There we go. Thank you. So one of the biggest builders out there is called Elementor. So Elementor is basically a website builder. What I just did is also a website builder, but this website builder is powered and done by WordPress, whereas Elementor is done by Elementor. So Elementor came first. WordPress kind of copied it, I have to be honest. And the direction that WordPress as a content management system wants is more or less this. It wants to be a full site editing experience where you can build stuff using blocks, template parts, etc., etc. So Elementor does exactly this. I'm going to install it just so you guys can see it. It's very different from using Gutenberg. And it may, no, I want to skip this. See if I can continue with the hello theme. Yeah, it's called WordPress. No, let's do this. Let's do that. Next. Yeah, let's get this. So what I did previously is now this. It looks really different. People usually stick with one, or they're passionate about one in particular. I'm like, since I'm a developer, I'll just take any. But again, note how the site editing experience is way different than what I just previously did. Chances are you may like Elementor, you may like Gutenberg more. I think Gutenberg is snappier, it's faster, it's more responsive to what I do because it's out of the box using WordPress compared to Elementor, which feels a little bit clunkier. So if I go back into my dashboard, let's go back. How do I go? Here we go. Apply, leave page. Thank you. So as you can see, it changes completely. If I refresh over here, and now it looks like this. And you're going to have to build your stuff from scratch using the same philosophy of using blocks. Now, there are other builders out there. Let me deactivate Elementor. Deactivate. Let me add a new one called DV, which is also very popular. DV. Builder. Oh. Activate. That's really, it's really odd because theme, let's disregard this, disregard, because this is not DV. I added the builder. Let me see, let me do keyword again, builder. Forms. Oh, odd, I can't find it. Well, this is a very popular one. Let's use this one instead of DV. So Beaver Builder is another page builder. I'm not I'm a little bit shocked that DV's not here. Again, this is really, really different. If you go to posts, you add a new one. It's not even here. Go post types. Yeah, save post types. I go to pages. I add a new one, and here we go. We launch it. No, and this is what it looks with Beaver Builder. Again, it's a really different aspect. It's a different thing. It's a different experience altogether. Ultimately, if you want to go the route of builders, you need to pick the one you feel the most comfortable with. Personally, I like the one that comes with WordPress out of the box. I think it's amazing. I just don't see the need of using this, but some people have been using it for quite some time now, and they are more comfortable using the others. The reason I mention this is because chances are you will bump into them sooner or later, and you will have to make the choice yourself or stick with what you've got. Moving on. I'm going to list plugins a little bit. I've been using plugins for quite some time without saying, but plugins are basically, they're the Trojan horses that you have. They do something specific that WordPress doesn't do out of the box. So I installed a page builder. That is something that I want to do that is not currently present. I want to book appointments. That's not currently present with WordPress. I want to sell stuff. That's something that WordPress doesn't do out of the box. I want my website to download copies. I want to do backups. That's something WordPress doesn't do out of the box. So note how I'm saying stuff that WordPress doesn't do out of the box. So plugins are bits of codes, are bits of reusable blocks that allow you to do a specific task. So as you saw, I install plugins by going here, adding a new, and just searching for it. Now, which plugins do I use? Which ones do I recommend? I mean, it really depends. So if I type for SEO, for example, Yoast will come up. Yoast is one of the most important ones, one of the most popular ones, but you also have all-in-one SEO. It's also very popular. What do I recommend when choosing one? First, try them out. I mean, if you like them, you like it. If you don't, go with the other one and see if you like that one best. Chances are you're going to like one over the other. One important thing, the stars. How many stars does it have? How many active installations does it have? As you can see, it has a lot, these two. So these two are like rivals. Is it compatible with my current version of WordPress? You want that. And when was it last updated? Because if it's been 1 day, that's good. But if it's been 700 days, that's not so good. Because as time goes by, security features might be needed, new features, is the plugin is it being actively supported or not? So the last updated bit of information will tell you exactly that. Let's scroll down, see if we have a one. You see this one a little bit suspicious. Not many installations. Nobody has rated it. So I will be like, I'm not so sure. But I mean, if it works for you, if you like it, that's great. So I don't know if you noticed, or if you paid attention to it, but you need to install a plugin by hitting the install now. That's going to download that plugin for you. And then it's going to ask you to activate it, because at this point, the plugin has been installed, but it's not active. So going back into our plugins over here, you see all of these. I only have one active, which is Lightspeed Scash. I have these inactive. And if I go over here and activate it, note how my dashboard also changed. It added a menu option over here, and now I can start tweaking this plugin in specific. If I refresh over here, you will note that now I have two active, which is Lightspeed and Yoast. So plugins work exactly like this. Now, which plugins do I really recommend? Again, SEO is really important. Backups. Backup. If I type backup, that's also important. You have this one by Automatic. You have this one. I personally like this a lot. I use Updraft Plus a lot because it allows me to download my backups into something that is not within my hosting environment, like for example, Dropbox or Google Drive. So that's really handy. That's really helpful because if my hosting fail, not that we will fail, but if should my hosting fail, I don't want my backup to be there. Or should my site be hacked, I don't want to put my eggs in the same basket. So Updraft Plus allows me to do the backups and download them into an offsite location such as Dropbox, Google Drive, Microsoft, etc. So I really like this one for that reason. What else do I like as well? Oh, I really like this also, SSL. I really enjoy this one because as you noticed, when I installed WordPress with GreenGeeks, this setting over here, this general setting, and nope, this general setting over here, if I went to settings and then general, this had the HTTP. So this little plugin does it for me. So I really enjoy this. SSL. Activate SSL. Yes. And I got locked out. Good thing I have my password.
Hey, Marco.
Yes.
We're a little bit out of time.
Okay.
So
All right.
I know you have another section on SEO. Maybe we can do that in another webinar, and we can go close it up and go to the questions.
Okay. Just so I close it for plugins. So yeah, the really simple SSL one is absolutely awesome. I recommend Gravity Forms because you are going to need forms on your website, right? You're going to have people, you want people to email you with questions, or you want to set up quotes, things like that. Gravity Forms is really important. It's not here. Why? I think I know why. It's not on the list of the plugins that is accessible through the WordPress directory. So just Google Gravity Forms and you will be able, you have to buy it off the website. So you can't install it using here. What else do I recommend? I recommend MailChimp. I'm just going to type it so that people can see it later on whenever they're viewing this. MailChimp, I absolutely recommend. It's again for newsletters. If you want to grab people's emails, it's really important for marketing purposes. You want to have some security as well. So type security. You have WordFence, all-in-one security, and iTheme security. You can't go wrong with any of them. Again, different flavors, different aspects of it. And something very important, image. I'm going to type image. And these plugins, they optimize your image. They more or less compress them so that they serve faster. Last but not least, I also recommend speed. We have that installed with with GreenGeeks. It's called Lightspeed. It's absolutely amazing. I am not going to get into many details, but it essentially makes your website load faster, perform faster, and thus better for you and your customers. So make sure you also type in speed. Type in speed, and you will have Lightspeed Cache, but I'm sure you will have W3 total cache. This one is really cool. This one is also nice. I recommend it, but yeah, just make sure you find your flavor. That's about it. I'm going to skip the SEO part, and unfortunately, unfortunately, we're done. Unfortunately, we're done. Going forward, make sure whatever path you take, you feel comfortable with doing, And that's that. Thank you so very much.
There's a
I am
lot of
sure we have a lot of
questions.
questions.
We're gonna try to. I'm gonna read them to you.
I can
Hopefully,
read them. Is this where it says 55?
Yeah, I'll just read them over for you. Okay,
Okay.
so the first question is, in the WordPress dashboard, I see 3 editing options when I hover my mouse over a page title: Edit, Quick Edit, and Edit with Elementor. What is the difference between them? Can I switch between them, etc.? Although I have Elementor Pro, I believe my free startup site was built in WordPress by GreenGeeks. Can I safely use the Edit with Elementor option? It's a little bit many questions in one.
Don't worry. So let me share my screen again. So basically, what's the person's name?
Okay, Christine. I'm sorry.
Christine. So Christine is basically asking. I'm going to install Elementor again. I'm going to activate it. So Christine wants to know that whenever I hover, what happened? Joost, why are you doing this to me? I don't have edit with Elementor. Huh. Or does she mention when I do this? No, let's create a new page. I think I know what happened. I need to go to appearance. I need to go to themes. And it is installed. Okay, let's do another post. Let's add a new one. One with Elementor. I don't see it, unfortunately. Yeah, what I'm seeing is this though, edit with Elementor. So basically Elementor works like behind the scenes. It's so you have this, which is the block editor that WordPress has. So Elementor, in an engineering aspect of things, has the builder baked into this button. So when you click on it, it's going to open the interface for you to actually start building your page using Elementor. Okay, so edit, it's just to edit the general aspect of the page of WordPress using the Gutenberg editor, their editor, whereas this button over here, the one I just clicked on, allows you to open the whole editing experience of Elementor. So that's the main difference between one and the other. Now, can you design both Elementor and WordPress? I guess you could, but it would feel like, I don't know, it would feel to me like, and I have to be honest, it would be like having 2 cars and one pulling the other, and you would be switching from one car to the other while you drive. I mean, there's not a lot of, it's not really practical of start doing, an editing experience such as the one with Gutenberg over here, and start designing like this, updating this, only to go with Elementor over here, because it's a conflicting way of things. As you can see, I have this, but now I can also start doing, things like this. And again, it's using 2 same tools for one same thing. And I hope that answered the question.
Okay, thank you. June is asking, we use GreenGeeks and use Weebly, but is there a way to move everything over to WordPress, or do we have to build again? I
honestly don't know the answer to that question, because that's a tough question. Let's see. Let me see if you have something. No, you will have to find a plugin that does a migration of content from Weebly to WordPress. I'm sure that, yeah, you're going to have to do that, or you will have to you will have to hire a developer that can do that migration. It depends really on how complicated it is, but if it's just content, I am sure there is a developer plugin out there that can do this for you But if it's the whole thing, ooh, that can be a little complex, yes.
Thank you. I see someone posted how to migrate Weebly to WordPress in the chat. Thank you for sharing. So Felisa is asking, I wonder how I could change my footer. What is in it, like small picture or list of words? How to change a footer?
Wait,
Probably
first of
depends on the
all,
theme.
was I sharing the right screen when I answered the question? When I was sharing my WordPress installation screen? Was I or was I not?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's just that I was looking at the monitor. I was like, oh, did I share the wrong screen? Okay, I was scared. Sorry. What's the question again, please? I'm sorry, Anna.
How to change the footer? I
Using the
believe
full
that
site,
depends on
the full site.
It depends on.
It depends. Okay, so you guys are seeing my theme, right? You guys are seeing this that I'm highlighting this.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So going back, let's deactivate. Let's deactivate Elementor again. Going back and going back to appearance. Let me activate this one, or actually, let me activate this one, which is the most modern one. I am going to go under the premise that you have a theme that has a full site editing experience using Gutenberg, okay? If it's for Elementor, it's going to be different. If it's for a theme created by someone else, that is going to change as well. So for full site editing experience, such as Gutenberg, you basically hit the customize button over here. You hit the little gear over here, you go to template parts, you go to footer, and now you can start rolling away. You can start rolling away by using, I don't know, let's use a pattern over here. Can I insert that? Yes. Go over here, and like this, background. Oh, wait, that didn't look nice, but it's okay. Over here. Over here. Okay, that I didn't do a good job there. Over here. Still like the screen. Gradient here. Oof, I like this. Or let's use this. I love this. So let's save this. Go over here, just like that. Here's my awesome footer. So again, to recap, so I don't go that fast. I go back to the dashboard. Let's say you have your Gutenberg full site editing experience theme enabled. You go to appearance, you go to themes, you go to customize over here. You hit the little navigation icon to your left. You go to template parts, you hit footer, and it opens just your footer where you can start editing, you know, adding blocks to it and start typing stuff away. And that's once you're good, you save it, and that should do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Ginger is asking, what are script updates? How do I install them? And is there any risk in doing so?
Script updates?
Mm-hmm.
What are script updates? The thing is, I don't know what type of script you're referring to. Are you referring to cron jobs that WordPress uses, or scripts that you have using JavaScript that update something? I don't know if you're there, but can you expand that a little bit? Because, well, I can do both, I guess. Script updates could be cron jobs or WordPress cron, something called like this, WordPress cron job.
Someone is suggesting updates to themes and plugins is what she means. I believe Ginger is no longer with us, so she cannot answer.
What did you say? Sorry, you broke.
Someone is suggesting that Ginger was referring to updates to themes and plugins.
If you can write a a script that does that, or
I'm really not sure, but I don't think we have her anymore, so we can ask her what she meant.
because you can also do this, enable auto updates, and what it does is that whenever the plugin is updated, it gets automatically updated on your website. So that is that's an update. But if you are mentioning a WordPress cron job, that's a script that disregarding this read that's a little geeky. It basically means that you can hook into these recurrent things that will run at a certain amount of time or certain amount of days, and you as a developer can execute that on your own. And that is, called, a cron job that allows you to run scripts recurrently.
Thank you. And I see Stephanie here is asking how to find the dashboard on the GreenGeeks side. That's something from the very beginning.
So let's see, GreenGeeks, and want to log in. She wants to find the WordPress dashboard from.
How to find the dashboard on GreenGeeks side, I guess.
Okay. We have this. Okay, I see what you mean. WordPress staging, auto updates. No, you don't really need the dashboard per se. To access the dashboard, usually WordPress, or most of the time, it will be your domain like this, plus WP admin, just like this. So always add your domain dot extension WP admin. So whenever you do this, you will always access your dashboard, unless you have something that hides it. But from within our dashboard, like GreenGeeks dashboard, there's not a way you can do that. There is a way, but it's a little long. I'll explain it to you. You have to go to cPanel to do this. You go to cPanel. This is going to open your cPanel account. And from there on, you scroll all the way down to Softaculous. Where is it? Let me search for it. Oh, Softaculous. Installer. WordPress. Oh, it's not even installed here. Hold on. WordPress. Let me see. GreenGeeks. There we go. So doing this again, you go to your dashboard, you have this hosting account, you go to cPanel, you search for WordPress, and this WordPress Manager by GreenGeeks, you click on it, and then you can go into your login button over here, and this is going to open it for you. But like I previously said, if you want to access your dashboard, it's just your domain name /WP/admin. I think this one is faster and easier than going the whole circle of going into cPanel.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. That's faster. Andre is asking the pros and cons of Jetpack versus a collection of specific plugins for the functions you need.
That is very
pros and cons.
Is it Trey my boss? Is it Trey my boss or no? No.
No, Andre.
Oh, Andre. Okay.
Yeah, Andre.
So he's asking Jetpack versus a collection. Pros and cons. I would go personally. I would go with separate on each because how can I say this? I would go because Jetpack may not have or may have more than what you need. Okay, so if you go on the separate route, you can have complete control over which ones you can actually pick to do that particular job. Now, if you are completely happy with everything that Jetpack does out of the box, then okay, that's good. But if you feel that another functionality of that Jetpack has is done better using a separate plugin, or Jetpack does way more than what you actually need, then I would definitely go the separate route. Plus, I like Automatic. I mean, they're a great company and all, but I have this sentiment that I don't like to give too much power to one company in specific. So in the WordPress ecosystem, I try to help the little guys out more. That this is just me being philosophical about it. And to give you an example, I don't use Chrome for that matter. This is why I use Firefox. Firefox is an independent organization. I prefer that my browsing habits and everything that I do on the internet is managed by Firefox and not Google. So I had that feeling. It will more or less the same with Automatic, because Automatic, the company is owned by Matt Mullenweg. He is the founder of WordPress. And I just prefer, for a state of balance, karma, universe, cosmos kind of thing, I don't like to give too much control to one company. So yeah, that's that. Is it me? I know you cut off. No, Anna, you're muted. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. Kathy is saying, will sites from any platform migrate with the migrate site option? And is there a fee to migrate an existing site?
No, there's no fee to migrate an existing website. And to answer the first part of your question, it really depends. I mean, if it's a simple website, yeah, that's using cPanel, chances are we can do that for you. But if it's a complex website out of a different hosting platform that is not using cPanel, oh boy, that one can get hard. This is something we usually assess when we're setting up your hosting account, and we have a team that does that, and they will discuss this internally with you.
Thank you. Ginger is asking, what are plugins? What is a plugin? It's a...
Oh. Okay. No, a plugin is, I still have my, yeah, I do. A plugin is, let's deactivate everything. Okay, so out of the box, WordPress comes with this plugin that is active. And as you can see on my left, I can only write posts, pages, moderate comments, have control over my theme, manage users, change my settings, and configure this. Let me go even further. So I can only create posts, manage posts, media, pages, comments, my theme, users, and settings. I can't do much other than write content, both pages or posts. That's about it. That's all I can do. That's all my WordPress can do. Plugins allow me to do beyond that. So what do I want to do? Do I want to do backups with my site? I install a plugin. So a plugin is a piece of, let me see if I can, okay. So let's say I have this canteen and the lid is open. Yeah, I can drink, water from it. I can fill it with water, but if I want to take it on the road, it's not really useful because I don't have this, okay? So this is WordPress, and a plugin could be a piece that allows me to, and let me go even one step further. So a plugin is this little piece that allows me to close the lid on it and allows me to carry my bottle, and let's hope no water comes out, and do this. And yeah, I can use it exactly that. But here comes another scenario. What would happen if I want, for example, you see, I have this over here. I want to hang this using a clip. So a clip is another plugin that I can install on my bottle and do this. I'm sorry, I'm not very good with my hands. And you get the gist of it. So this little clip over here, I can put it in there. And now I have an extra functionality with my bottle over here, with my flask. I think it's the word in English, correct? So plugins behave exactly like this. So what functionality do I want to add to my WordPress website that allows me to do more with it? So going back into our screen over here, this guy over here, I could do backups with it. I could do backups with on my website. So I use a particular plugin. This over here allows me to make my website go way faster. So we use this plugin over here. This plugin over here deals with spam. This is one of the recommended ones, by the way. So if I want to moderate comments, if I don't want to deal with spam, I can install it and that will manage it for me. So again, plugins are pieces of code that allow you to do extra stuff with your WordPress website.
Thanks, Marco. I realize we're very out of time. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to answer the questions after, like emailing or the people who asked, if you're okay with that.
But how do you know which ones are asking the question? That's the only thing I don't know.
No, Erica has a list of everything. So we'll be able, right, Erica? We'll be able to send out the answers because we're out of time now.
Yes,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
And so, well, thank you so much for the presentation. I
welcome.
think we should have done many, many more webinars and cut it in different bits and pieces.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. And thank you for everybody who's actually was able to stay until the end. And I'm sorry that I cut off your SEO portion. I'm very sorry about that.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
But we will we'll be in touch with everyone. And I read all the suggestions in the chat for future webinars. So thank you so much also for those, for everyone. And thank you.
Oh, I see the little hearts there. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
nice. Thank you. Thank you.
The reactions. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I hadn't seen them until now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Erica.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you,
It was a
Marco.
pleasure.
We'll
Thank you,
see
Anna.
everybody
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.